All right, this is a video on how to take the battery out of a P3010L smoke detector. If you have to, or if you want to, these are not supposed to be taken apart. Okay, so remember that what I'm saying. These are not designed to be taken apart, and the battery inside is tacked into place. So you would have to like basically kind of unsolder it. So this is just a video to show you how to do it if it was an extreme reason that you had to. Or you just should just buy another because these are not very expensive. Now the trick to these things, the trick to getting into these cases. Before I even get started, the other reason why I'm opening this up is my battery is fine because this was installed in 2017, and right now it is August. Today I think is like the 15th of August or something like that of 2022. So this is a 5-year difference. So we still have 5 years worth of battery. But this thing was false alarming. It was just tripping for nothing, and I did not realize that it was a photoelectric smoke. There's basically two types of smoke detectors: photoelectric and ionization. They work completely, they operate completely differently. The photoelectric is more common in businesses. Uh, there's a chamber inside, and in the chamber there's an LED that's transmitting light at an angle, obscure angle to the receiver. If anything enters the chamber, like smoke or a bug or a fly or whatever, it can bounce the light into the receiver. If the receiver sees the bounced light, it will go into alarm. So this happens to be this happens to be a photoelectric smoke, like I'm saying. Now, in ionization, a lot of times those are more used in the houses, in residential, and they false alarm with near the bathroom and steam, things like that. But it's a total. You can look that up on the internet as far as the operation of those. But anyway, this is photoelectric. Now, I'm going to show you how I did it. It's going to be tricky to do this because I only have one hand left. The trick to opening these covers is you're going to need 4 flat toothpicks. You know those flat kind that you can get? All right. I suppose you could do it with the round ones too, but the flat is better because there's a space in there that's kind of flat that you need to stick these into. And you're going to need a screwdriver like this one, a small one, little skinny tip. And there's 4 areas that need to be dislodged in order for the top to come off. And I've done that. As you can see, the side right here, there's quite a big gap right there. I'll try to show you that but I don't want to snap it back down, then I got to take it all back apart again. So right now I'm just going to open this up and I'll show you what I did. Now, first I'll show you the chamber. And my chamber is clean, so it was still false alarming. So this is bad. This is a defective unit. I'll just buy another one. But anyway, okay. So I'm going to try to do this with one hand. So if I take the cover off, let me see if I can do this. I'm just unsnapping it. You see these little? There's the top cover. Now I cut the wires to the sounder just to shut it up here. I cut the wires. See these 3 wires? These used to go to these 3 over here, and I chopped it with a pair of cutters because I'm into electronics, and I'm thinking I might want to save this sounder for something else. I don't know what voltage it runs on, but I'm going to save this thing. Now, this is the photoelectric chamber. And if you unsnap a couple of little pieces around it, you can actually take the cover off the top of it. All right, and you can put this to the side. Now down inside here, if you look, you have an LED right over here. You have an LED right where my screwdriver is pointing. And then over here, you have a receiver. And notice it's at an obscure angle. Normally, they can't see each other because they're at an angle. But when something comes into this chamber, like here, smoke, whatever, there's enough bounce that it bounces it into the receiver from the LED transmitting, and it will detect some light from the transmitting diode. And if it is enough to meet the threshold, it will set the unit into alarm. Now the battery here, these are like miniature tack welds on here. You can't get this out. I tried to give it a little twisty with the screwdriver, and they don't want to come out. So you could force this off if you wanted to heat this up with a solder gun on the sides. I suppose you could do this if you didn't have the money, or you just felt like doing a little project. But again, I don't really recommend doing this. I would just say go buy another detector. But this is just for instructional purposes, not to be used to actually do this. Because I'm going to throw this unit out. And anyway, over here you have the switch. And that switch there is the switch that when you want to activate this for the first time or the last time, you're going to twist the smoke detector in the socket that it is mounted to the ceiling or whatever. And when you do that, it is going to, I'll show you. See that little switch there, that little switch? How it's located? It's like falling down in between these two pieces of white plastic. Well, if you had your finger and you could freely move the switch, you could see that it moves. But you can't move it now with your finger because of the white plastic pieces. But those are actually hooked into like a little mini cam system. So when you twist the base down here, when you twist that base this way or that way, you're rotating this to make the switch go on or off. So if you want to turn the smoke detector on for the first time, when you do that, it turns it on. And then when you want to decommission it, you turn it the other way. But if you look at the actual circuit board, what those two pieces are doing is nothing more than sliding this switch. A little something on my neck here. A little bugger or something. I don't know. A little bugger? Yeah, I got a little bugger. What is that? A little fly, a little fruit fly. Yeah, 'tis the season of fruit flies, as we all know. Being the middle of summer in 2022. So yeah, so there's your thing there. So this is all junk to me now, and I'm going to throw it out. But I will, I have decommissioned it by throwing the switch. Now, how to get into this thing is kind of tricky. They got these little fish hook. You see these four areas here, and then they have these four prong things. And the prong things have a hook on, like a little hooky thing here. Hook. So what you got to do is, now I'm going to throw this back into there. And you'll have to remember in reverse what I did. But anyway, let me put that over there. Now, these four jobbies go down in these four jobbies here. So basically, we're looking, and there's only one way it's supposed to go. And the way it was going, I want to make sure I get it correctly positioned here. So the switch went like this. Like so, and there's one screw on the board you have to take out if you did want to take the board out. And anyway, this with this was over this way. Okay, so this has to go like a yay. This has to go like a yay, and then in to those 4. This way. Maybe like this. Okay. Okay, so you're going to see those are going to go down in there. Now, when I snap it in, okay, it's sealed now. So this is like factory sealed. See, now you can't open it now. So what you have to do to get in there, this is it's not tricky too bad, but my table had a little bit of dirt on it, like a little bit of grit. That's why when I had it laying on the table, this thing appears like it's dirty now, but that just happened just here now. Around this ring. They hide this. There's a piece of this white, soft, smooth material that you can see it coming off. It's like a rubber spongy thing. And they hide this. They go right over these openings. So these openings, if you look down in there, you can see that little fish hook effect. Now it's not just a matter of pulling it back, because you need to pull all 4 back at the same time. So what I did was I grabbed a screwdriver and I wedged it down. Let me see if I can do this. Get the camera down in there. Let me see here if I can get up right and show you how to do this. You gotta get your screwdriver, and that's the hook. The one in the middle is where's the camera at here? All right. The one in the middle is the hook. The piece below it is not the hook, but it's the part of the main base. So you need to separate those 2 pieces by prying down, and you got to squeeze the screwdriver in at an angle and pry. If you can see that, let me see. Here, I'm going to set the phone down, and I'm going to stick the toothpick in that hole. Just a second. I don't know if you can see what I'm doing here, but I can't quite get the camera in the position. Let me set the phone down for a second. And I'm going to put the toothpick in between there. Alright. That should work now. Alright, so now, you see what I did? I pried the bottom piece away from the top piece. And I stuck a screwdriver in between those 2. And you need to do that to all 4 of those sides. And once you do that, leave the toothpicks in for a little bit until you start taking the cover, the top, down a little bit. And once you get it down a little bit and start pulling, eventually the toothpicks will then not let you take it apart, because they are going to get in the way. So at that point, you remove the toothpicks, and then the top will come right off. So that's it. That's as far as I want to go with this video. It's been, 13 minutes now. So yeah, you'd have to do the next. It only takes you can do one pretty quick. Like, you just stick a screwdriver down in there and you twist. Let me see. It's moving around so much because this table's wood. And it's not cooperating at all. It's slippery. Let's see here. You got to stick your screwdriver in right down in there, and then pry it apart. See how I just pried it apart? At that point, you'd stick a toothpick right in that little piece that's in between, that gap, and then you pull your screwdriver out. So let me set the phone down. I'm just going to set it down for a second. I'm going to keep talking so you know the video's still going. This is with my other hand now. Let me get the thing back again. Okay, now I've now got that piece in now. Now I can pull my screwdriver out. And voila, as they say. We now have 2 of them in. So then it don't take long, maybe 10 seconds on each one. And that's all you have to do. So when you have all 4 in, you're ready to take it apart. Alright, so I'm going to pull these back out. And that should do it for this video. So today's date again is August, I believe it's a Sunday. I don't know if it's the 15th or whatever, or the 16th. I don't know. It doesn't matter. But anyway, it's August of 2022. And you got the model numbers you can see is the P3010L by Kidde. Alright, that'll take care of it for the video. Hope it helps somebody. Later. Ha! And you thought I was done. I got one last thing I forgot to tell. Forgot to say something about. There is a chance that you can clean the smoke detector without taking it apart, okay? Being that it is a photoelectric chamber, a lot of times there's a spot on this detector where this thing is sitting. Of course, it's going to have the lid on it. And what it does is, I believe, it's where this black and white come together. I believe on this side over here, it's going to be sitting kind of like, well, it'd be upside down. It would be like this, but for now, I'll just leave it this away. What you can do is you can squirt some compressed air, if you can, into the chamber. Sometimes you can actually clean it. You shoot air into those little crevices right there. Let me get my cheaters on here so I can see closer up. Yeah, there's these little, right where this toothpick is aiming. You see those little teeny slits? From the outside of the detector, which is visible right over here, you can shoot hot. You don't want to shoot anything hot. I don't know why I said hot. You can shoot air from a compressed can in there, and sometimes, if you're lucky, you can get as many of those as you can. Now, there's an angle there, so it's tough. You can shoot air in there, and it'll blow around. It'll blow air around, and sometimes knocks something out of the view of the LEDs that's detecting it. So that's how you clean these. But if you keep blowing air in there and keep trying as many, because you got to shoot the air through here, you know, at an angle. If you can't get it to blow clean, then forget it. See, it's hard to shoot air in there because they have these angles twisted. So, like, they have that made like that for little bugs, because bugs will try to crawl. If you got a bug crawling around in there, it's going to set the smoke detector off. It's going to trip it. So they make these little teeny slots. So when you shoot air in there, it doesn't go straight in. It has to hit here, come around the angle, and hopefully it'll move. If you got something in there, like some dust or something, if you've been doing like drywall work in the house or whatever, you're going to have dust settled in here. And they're not smart enough to know how to make these so dust won't set them off. Because even if dust is laying in this chamber, or something is inside there, it's gonna trip it. They should have made these deeper. Now let me think about this. Is this going to be this way? It is. So yeah, see, they're kind of shallow. The really much better photoelectric detectors have a much deeper chamber, so that if there is dust, it's going to fall so far away from the LEDs that it would take years and years before the dust would pile up high enough to trip it. But they have to make these in a low profile so it won't be that tall, because you want to keep it shorter so it doesn't look so stupid on your ceiling. But anyway, that's how you clean those out with luck. But I tried it, and it didn't help it. It kept alarming. So then I decided to open it up because I can't fix it anyway. So I looked in there, and like I said, I saw nothing. It was just like it is right now. There was nothing in there. So I know right away it's a defective one. All right, so that's it. Later.